Welcome to the Healing Guides podcast. I renamed the podcast from what I called it initially, such as Healing Yourself or Marian, which is my secondary name. My other name is Hannah. So I'll just go with the flow. This is a much better title, Healing Guides, which will talk about a diverse set of topics, a little bit of the spiritual aspect, a little bit of just general, self development or motivational advice, which is going to be the one that I'll focus on the most. I just talk a little bit about the spiritual aspect of life or spirituality, just so that it helps build up the other topics that I have to talk about, because it's not going to make sense unless we bring a higher being, such as God, into it, as well as just a little bit of the basics of spirituality, such as the fact that demons exist, because then it explains a lot of the evil and a lot of the problems that you have, because it's always their fault. So I didn't really plan what I'm going to talk about. I just wrote myself a title as to what the subject should be on. And this one is based on doubt and anger. And yeah, this is about self development. So I'll talk a little bit about maybe spiritual, that depends, but really I'm going to talk more about your higher self, becoming your higher self when it comes to more like this world, who you're here to be. So that would be more like the professional aspect of you, like what career or what passion or what type of field of work you should do in this world. So it's about dreams, really, and developing yourself in other areas as well, of course. But I'm never going to talk about relationships and stuff. So it's more like dreams and goals and just developing yourself as a person overall in terms of your personality, your, self-esteem, strengthening yourself as a person. So doubt and anger, very important feelings, because when you don't know what you're supposed to do with your life, or you do have a passion or a goal, but you don't know how to get there, maybe you're limited by money, you're limited by lack of experience, or just how to even start. You don't even know because there's so much knowledge out there. It does cause a lot of doubt in yourself, whether you can accomplish it, doubt whether you'll die before you even get to that time, doubt as to whether this is even for you. Even thoughts will come to your mind like, well, maybe you didn't accomplish anything in this area, like maybe you didn't, start this type of career because maybe it's not for you. You'll get thoughts like that, which is why I talked a little about the demonic in my first few healing guides, because that will be like the base that we need to understand all the other things that I'll talk about. You're getting those thoughts from demons. You're not getting it from yourself. The thing about the human being is he's created sort of empty, you know? That's what innocence means when they say a toddler is innocent. It doesn't mean they're good. It just means, because that would be pure. Innocent as in like ignorant, They're empty. They're an empty shell. And then you can put stuff into it, right? Into that shell or that. And when I say shell, I don't mean you human or some shell like object. I mean like your mind. You can put, information into your mind, correct? So you can put all that information, whether the information is evil, whether the information is normal information, whether the information is, good information, it doesn't matter. You can put that information into the human being, his internal system, through his mind, through how he feels, his heart, his conscious, right? Her conscious, her mind, her heart, etc. And now the human becomes that type of way or that type of character. Let's call them a character. And they might lose themselves, innately what they were designed as from the beginning, that God hoped and wanted them to be. And I'm saying hoped because he knows he created evil and he knows he gave demons power to persecute you and ruin you in this life. So he's always hoping that you win, you know? He's always hoping that you get through all those hurdles like a soccer, game, or not soccer, something else would fit. Sorry, I was trying to say like a marathon, or like a game where a sports game where Maybe you and your classmates are all running and you're trying to get to the end. Like that, the teacher way at the end, right? The coach is hoping that you all pass and that you get to the final stage. So God is always hoping that we use the strength that He gave us. You know, when we pray to Him, He's really just kind of extending His own love to us, His own mercy to us. But we already were created with strength to withstand this life. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. You know, there'd be some deficiency, like some product manufactured error, like a phone. And you have to call the phone designer and be like, hey, this phone is junk. It's broken. Like, why did you give this to me? The human is not like that. You're not going to ever call God and be like, you know, God, you made a mistake. You didn't design me strong in this area. Because of you, I failed. You're not going to be like that. It's really your choice to develop that strength. He already put it in you. That's why when human beings try to uplift you and help you to develop self-development type of qualities, they don't really like try to make you into a human, do they? They just kind of inspire you. Because you already know how to then act on that inspiration. They just sort of like push you to remember those qualities, those types of mentalities, ideologies that are healthy and higher being. Not higher being, sorry, higher conscious. You get me? So you already have the tools to then just use that and just become what they're trying to help you become. Otherwise, they'd have to train you like a robot if you actually didn't know anything, and they have to make you that strong person. So doubt will kick in if you haven't reached the stage in life that you should have reached at this point in your life. And it's usually age, right? It's usually at a certain age that we think we should have a certain type of accomplishment. And if you haven't, okay, doubt will kick in. And then anger, you know? There's no way a human won't get angry. You might say, I feel depressed, more sorrow, more sad. Yeah, but at some point you're gonna get pissed. At some point you're gonna get really, frustrated in a more angry like way that you haven't accomplished anything. And I didn't say something, I said anything. Because that's how we speak as human beings, even if we have accomplished other things in life. We always use the word, I haven't accomplished anything, like the word anything. Which, I mean, is subjective. Maybe some humans really have not accomplished anything in life. But just remember that you have accomplished something. You just maybe have to go think about it. Maybe there's a part of you that's really developed really well. Maybe there's a skill that you have that you're really good at because you really used it a lot growing up. And maybe you can use that now to do something bigger. So I'm just saying don't necessarily put yourself down with that type of narrative. I've accomplished nothing, because that is a feeling. Yes, it's a statement and it's a thought as well at some point in your mind that you hear, but then it actually turns into a feeling. You get me? So my advice, I'm not going to make this healing guide too long because the other ones are really long. My advice then, how to heal that part of you that's feeling doubt is, to follow the advice I gave on the prior healing guide recording, which is to write it down. Go back in memory and try to figure out what your dreams were, what your goals were, because those are two different things. Dream is more like an actual bigger type of quality or character that you need to accomplish. You need to become, let's say, a leader in a certain type of field. Okay, that's more like a dream because it's a big goal. Smaller things they would still be a goal, but smaller things, then we would call them goals. Like you have a goal to buy this type of car, you have a goal to have that kind of house, you have a goal to go to that country and visit them for a while, you have a goal to, like that, smaller things that you're not going to die if you don't accomplish them, right? You can kind of live without them. The dream is really what fulfills you, that you really need. But goals are like short term and long term. So write it down. That's really the first step. We can motivate you, but then you're going to kind of feel a complete different emotion a little bit later. That motivation is a feeling. So the feeling will subside, it will go away. So what did you accomplish? Nothing. So I'm going to give you practical steps or skills or tools, right, that you can use to actually get to where you want to be. I'm not going to just make you feel good because that's not going to make you accomplish anything, right? You need both of them. You need to feel inspired and you need to have actual tools that you can use to get to that place that's inspiring you so much, you know? You're so inspired because you're actually visualizing that person in the future, right? Who accomplished everything you want. Okay, so that's actually how you got inspired, right? By thinking about you having accomplished those things. You haven't, you have already become that higher self or that sort of accomplished self. You visualizing that in your mind is what made you feel inspired, correct? Okay, but that person came about by doing things today. And you might be like, I already know that. We just have to work hard. Yeah, I'm not gonna waste your time and teach you things other motivational speakers and human beings overall have already taught you. Humans know what to do, they know how to get to where they need to be. I just want to help you more on the psychological aspect or the emotional aspect and give you the healing. I want to guide you on the healing part of your journey. But there's a lot of things that we will feel or think that are not our thoughts and our feelings. I'm just trying to separate that from you so you don't think that's who you are. No, those are demonic influences. They heavily influence the human mind and the human heart. If I take that out of your system, if I teach you that's not you, and if I help you remember who you used to be and what you wanted to become originally, without all the immorality that you might have dived into, all the unhealthy things that you do today, like drugs or alcohol, without all the, bad influences and people that you're around that don't uplift you and take you where you need to be, and without all the sort of jealousy that maybe you have, that others have accomplished things and you haven't. Or maybe you don't have that unhealthy quality of feeling jealous, but at least you're human and you feel disappointed in yourself that others have accomplished things. Maybe like your high school graduates, you see them online, you see what they've accomplished, and you're like, oh, I have accomplished nothing. Those types of thoughts, those types of emotions, that's really what's dragging you and stealing all your time and energy. And that's why you're not actually getting up every day doing what you need to do, correct? You're stuck in that emotional state, that psychological down place. So I'm trying to help you heal that. I can't heal that for you. Only God can heal us. But you can heal yourself. You're the next powerful, you know, being that can heal yourself. First God, then yourself. Others can only assist, support, inspire, educate, or teach you. But I'm not healing you. Only you can heal yourself. Which I'm saying that intentionally so that you don't actually, give humans that kind of power over yourself. Because that really disturbs me. A lot of the human race really treats other people like some sort of God. Someone that can save them, validate them, make them feel like a whole or complete or blah, blah, blah. No, no, no. You're the one that can do that for yourself. You can give yourself all those things you're seeking in others. The only thing you can give yourself, right, is another person talking to you and giving you a hug. Okay, you can't do that to yourself technically. It's kind of, right? And that's fine. That's why God created relationships. But things like how you feel, how you think, you get that from yourself. You are created to do that for yourself, which is why you're a strong creation. You're a strong species. And unless you're operating from that, but instead you choose to operate from a lower vibration place, a lower place of thinking, okay, demons win. They just make you live a boring, miserable life. You get to your 30s, you tell yourself, oh, I'm doomed. I'm old now. Let me just get married, have kids. You just give up. Who cares how old you are? You know? A lot of the passions that humans would have anyway don't even require age. If you want to have a business, do you need to be a certain age? No, there's no limit. You can be 70 years old and start a business. If you want to write, you can write. If you want to, help people and be some sort of influential person, even if it's like a job, like a mayor, you can do that at any age. You get me? The only thing you lose over time is just the agility, the strength, the sort of energy that you had when you were younger. And yes, that is something to feel grieve over. Grieve it. Don't suppress it. Because when you suppress it, then it's gonna develop into anger. Almost all emotions, if you suppress it, if you repress it, it turns into anger. Because you repressed it, meaning it went back to you. It starts to hurt you. Correct? That's an emotion. It's supposed to get out of you. Okay, so when you put it back into yourself, it's like you're hitting yourself with a fist bump. Obviously, that's gonna hurt. Okay, and now anger comes out, trying to push that out. It wants it out. It wants to get it out of itself. Get this emotion out of me, you know? And now you just become an angry person. I don't think you want to be like that. That's why a lot of people have anger issues. They're just repressing a lot of emotions. Sometimes just sadness, just grief. They've lost something, but they don't want to cry. Just cry. It's okay. There's no gender that God created to cry, man or woman. You're human first. You're just masculine or feminine, but you're human, and humans cry. So I can understand as a man if you're uncomfortable with it, right? But I have an excellent solution for that I can give you, and that is to just cry by yourself. You just go into a room and you just cry with yourself, you know? Just because you can't cry in front of other men doesn't mean you can't cry, right? The emotion is still a choice. You can still do it alone. Two, go to God and cry to Him. You get me? He's literally watching you and listening that whole time. That's what makes Him a powerful being. How many billions of human beings are in the world right now? It's obviously surpassing the 8 billion now, right? And imagine the other species, right? Can you believe God is literally aware of all of them? He's seeing everything, He's hearing everything. He's individually, not He's individually, sorry, individually, all of you, He's able to be present with you, right? Listen to you, hear you. That's power, you know? A God that powerful, go to Him and get His help. He obviously knows what to do. You might be thinking, that's so dumb. I know that already. Yeah, but that doesn't mean your subconscious remembers that. As human beings, we have to be reminded. It's our nature to just forget, you know? We know things, but that's why we fall into depression, because we forget the things that would have made us happy instead. Since we forgot, we become depressed. You get me? So that's why when people inspire us and remind us and motivate us and say, well, you're good, man, and you got this. You remember that day you did this for me? You can do, you know? Or the females will tell her, the female friends like, so and so, you got this, etc. You're actually smart at this, like that. That's why when people say things like that to you, you feel inspired, and all of a sudden, you don't necessarily think that's so dumb, do you? You don't think what those people said about you. You knew that, obviously. I don't need to hear that. You don't think like that. At that moment, you're appreciating it. That's really what you needed. It's like a hungry person having food. It's such a big energy boost. So it rejuvenates your heart, your soul, and your mind. The same way food will rejuvenate your body. So you need to be reminded. You need to be reminded that God is powerful. You need to be reminded that He can fix your problems. You need to be reminded that you can go to Him for anything. And those who don't believe in a God, you should. You know, one thing you can do is actually do this. Say, God, people tell me you exist, but I don't believe you exist. And I don't know you exist. Can you please give me evidence or give me proof or give me something that tells me you are real and you're actually out there? God will do it. But you just have to be really, really careful with this, because demons will attack you. They don't like that, obviously. So the next prayer you're going to make after God shows you something and you believe He exists, the next type of prayer you're going to make, obviously, is which type of God are you? Which religion are they worshiping you? Even though almost all religions now have some lies in it, still, right? You at least found the religion of God, right? That's not obviously something to take lightly, right? They know the next step will be for you to figure out which religion He sent down. And slowly you'll research and you'll study and you'll learn what's right and what's wrong in that religion. You're still going to get closer to Him either way. And they don't want that, you know? So they'll definitely try to send you, no offense to anyone, but the false religions, right? They'll definitely send you the humans who are, you know, from the false religions. They'll send you that moment, you know? So you have to use your mind. This podcast is not going to ever be about religion or telling you anything like that. I want to give you that feeling in you as a person that you're strong enough to figure out who your Lord is by personally seeking Him. Because even if I was to be like my religion is right, still, that doesn't prove it, correct? That's just a statement. I will still tell you to know that mine is right only by the fact that I would tell you to pray to Him and He would reveal that to you, correct? Either way, I would have to advise you to go to God anyway. So that's why it's not a big deal that I don't pick a religion and tell you this is right and the others are wrong. I don't have to do that. It doesn't benefit anybody. It just limits you from seeing all of them for yourself, studying them for yourself, making a decision for yourself. So, anyways, I really want whoever listens to me to see that I'm just trying to help you develop a relationship with God and not religion. Because you don't know which religion is right, and you don't know in the correct religion if you ever end up in that religion, when there's so much lies in it, you don't know where to go. So it's better to have, obviously, right, a connection with the actual creator. The religion is just sort of like his rule book, his manual, his guidebook. Let's not say rule book, that sounds negative. Manual, you know? It's just a manual book on how to protect yourself from spiritual things, physical things, which is what he calls a sin, disobedience, etc. And just how to be healthy, how to be more pure. That's it. That's all God's trying to teach you, just how to be healthy. Because he created evil and good, impure and pure. He has to tell you what to do. You get me? You're not in paradise where everything's okay and safe. You can do what you want. So if God allowed the devil to corrupt that, then of course you're not gonna study religion to figure out which one is right. Only you have to go to God first and actually try to have a relationship with him, try to get to know him, because he does communicate with you. He'll just communicate with you in your gut. He'll send you wisdom. He'll send you, it's not a thought, but you can, it's like you got information. You were told something. You'll hear you were actually being told something. Like go here, go there, etc. He'll guide you. That's what guidance means. Guide us to the straight path, as we Muslims say. You're asking God for guidance. So just as you would ask God for guidance in the spiritual aspect of life, you need to ask him for guidance in your own personal journey to getting rid of doubt and anger. Because you can't just be like, okay, I'll stop being an angry person. If it was that easy, you know, humans would just listen to us the moment we advise them to stop being so angry and doubting themselves. It's hard for them. I mean, it is easy. It's easy for someone like me. You like to just say that. I don't deal with that. For someone who does deal with that, that's offensive technically, to just treat them like it's so easy. So we want to be more compassionate and help people develop sort of like tools, right? Things they can actually do, actual behaviors they can do to actually help them. Instead of just saying, you got this. Don't be angry. Don't doubt yourself. That's more like the motivational side. You can say that to motivate them. So one, you need to go to God and ask him for strength. If you don't believe in him, then you gotta have to ask him if he's real to reveal himself to you. And then two, right? Writing it down, what your dreams were, what your goals were as a younger person. Everything. Like, it doesn't matter even if you accomplish it, just write it down, because then it shows you the bigger picture of what you were trying to accomplish. Every age, I'm sure you had a goal. When you were in your teenage years, there's things you wanted to do. When you were in 20, you wanted to actually become something. you know for example, for me, when I was younger, when I first got into my 20s, I remember always, I mean, not 100%, it was just like iffy. It was like a 50% maybe. I always wanted to get married, because I always wanted to get married when I'm young, so that then when I'm sort of like in my late 30s or 40, I would really be happy to see that my kids are sort of close to my age. because it always gave me paranoia that I'm super grandma age and they're still so tiny, that's weird. Now who am I now, right? I can't really guide them in life through the teenage years. So that's really the time I want to be there for them. I mean, if I don't die, right? So I always wanted to see them get married. You know what I mean? Like when they're in their late 20s, etc. So it may or may not work, right? You may or may not meet the right person. And you might have met someone you want, but you thought you wanted them, but you didn't because you had a impression of what type of person they are, but they're not. So I always wanted to get married when I was young and finish, my career in healthcare and then have my business after that and then leave the country. I'm in the United States right now. God won't let me leave this country. Oh my goodness. Every day I tell God, get me out of this country. He won't let me get out of this country. And you might be like, why are you blaming that on God? Because it's actually Him. I swear to God, there's a lot of things in my life that are, you know, that I can't control because God is controlling that area in my life. And unless you're really close to God, you're not going to understand what I'm talking about. People who are not religious are going to be like, I don't want to hear that. Because they think they have so much control over their life. But people who actually became more religious, it's not that they've always liked that. They actually became religious and got closer to God because God actually started to have His hand or control in some areas of their life so much that they had no choice but to humble themselves and come to Him and be like, what is going on? Why are you doing this to me? That's when they got pissed. That's when they got angry. You get me? Since they might be really sort of um, decent people, good character, because that religion may be molding them really well to have a good character. Okay, but if you're wondering when those people flip and get angry, it's usually when God is limiting them Himself. They're gonna go do what they need to do, correct? We're human beings. But since they're closer to God, can identify it when it's Him stopping them and when it's just life. And you gotta push harder. So I can tell when it's God not letting me do something and when I'm just maybe procrastinating or when I just didn't get the opportunity and I have to push myself more, etc. So there's certain things I just can't control. There's certain things that I can't just do right away. There's always something happening that prevents me from doing it. But inshallah or God willing, as Muslims we say inshallah, which means if God wills, I do want to get out of this country very soon and do all the things that I didn't get a chance to do, which for me would have been causing me anger because I was not able to accomplish those things, those sort of resolutions that would have made me a more happier person. And not all of them dreams and goals. Some are just other things that I can't share. So in these healing guides, I like to use myself as an example sometimes, not only so that I give a much better understanding of what I'm saying, because it's good to have an example, but also so that I try to heal myself as well as I speak. Because I'm going through things the same time that I'm recording these things, and I did think about it a lot if I should do it when I'm successful and accomplished everything, and then I can talk all I want, right? I always had a thought say, do these things, inspire people only when you're actually fully accomplished everything you want. And this is what I'm trying to say. This is what thoughts will say to you. These bad thoughts don't come from us. It's from the demon, okay? Sometimes they know you're maybe not going to live that long. Maybe they found out from God somehow, who knows, you're about to die soon. And they'll keep pressuring you to just wait and hold off things. And you're like, okay, you listen to that thought. And now you die. You had a couple of years to do at least something you like. So since we don't know when we're going to die, we have to remember that all the time. We should not really be thinking we'll just have a certain time in our life that everything is going to fall into place. The age, the money, the social life, the opportunity. No, because this world is filled with suffering, it's filled with evil. So at some point, that person you were hearing about who lost their job, that person who became homeless, that person who had a disease, that person, it's always someone else, correct? I'm sorry. So basically, it's always someone else, right? As human beings, we're always hearing that someone else had a problem, someone else had some falling. But obviously, that someone else, he or she also used to hear that too. It was always someone else for them too. But now it reached them and now they have the disease. Now they got into a car accident. Their leg is gone, you know? So you don't want to limit yourself and think, I have to get this in order to do that. I really gave up on that. And this is what I mean, that I can tell when it's spiritual. I can tell when it's God limiting me because I have the opportunities, right? I live in one of the best countries if you want to fulfill sort of worldly things, like material things. The United States is rich, right? So why can't I just accomplish what I want? Why can't I just do what I want? You're not going to understand unless you study the spiritual. I have demonic spirits monitoring my life, stalking me through people, and constantly sabotaging everything I want to do. And I didn't understand it until I went back to my childhood and saw that the family already set the stage for that. They already made it super easy for these demons because they use that family to already ruin everything. But that doesn't mean anything, you know? I'm a strong person. I still could have accomplished everything after that. I got rid of that family when I was, getting into my 20s, really young, right? I had all the years in the world, got right into college. That's when I was ready to do what I needed to do, start my business, start writing, everything. Everything you can think of that I have as a plan. I had that time to try to do it. Okay, but then I got spiritually attacked. Bad things would happen to me over and over and over and over again in unexplainable ways. You cannot explain it with logic, especially since those people don't know me. Complete strangers would target me and ruin everything that I have. That's spiritual, okay? You're in a spiritual war with these demons. You just don't know. There's people who don't have to deal with that, obviously. I'm not saying the whole entire human race is like that. That explains the ones who seem to have it easy, right? They just accomplish everything, just do whatever they want because demons are not targeting them. So it's only who God, right, is allowing to be in that situation. He's the one who decides if this demon should follow you like that. At 0%, 10%, 30%, 0% doesn't exist, sorry. Let's say the average is 5%, right? They harass everyone. So at 5%, right, or 20%, 30%, 80%, 90%, I'm at 100%. They they attack me all the time. And one of the ways they attack me is my mind. All these thoughts telling me, because if you're a strong person and you know who you are and what you want to do in this life, as a demon, you can't stop that person, correct? Because he's not weak, you know? He's strong in his mind. Okay, so what they try to do is get you to sabotage yourself. They try to just change the way you think. They send you bad people, they can't influence you. You get rid of them. You're born into a bad family, you get rid of them. They can't do anything to put you down. Something bad happens, they take away your job, they make you homeless, they turn random people to harass you. Whatever these demons do, it doesn't affect you, which is what happens for me. It doesn't affect me. So they have to come after your mind then, correct? If nothing works, if the events they set up to ruin you and push you back in your dreams, your goals don't work, they have to come after your mind. So that means you were doing really well, okay? When all of you develop some sort of mental health issue, like you guys like to call mental health, I don't like that term because it always connects to mental illness, and that doesn't exist. So anytime your mind, right, how your mind is operating is not healthy, right? Anxiety, depression, that is not natural, like it's just too much. There you go. So you guys can't be like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have that problem. You're the only one who has problems with demons. Leave me alone. You can't say that. But I know all of you have that problem in your mind. Depression, anxiety, worry, fear. You'll all say we have mental health problems. Yes or no? Just don't use that word mental health. I hate that word. That's why you have that problem. That's why you're getting those horrible thoughts. Those thoughts just trying to put you down as a person. Because demons don't know what to do. They tried many things and you're still moving on. You're doing the best you can. They have to come after your mind so that you personally walk in the actual direction that would destroy you. Now they win. But if they leave your mind alone, if God never gave them the power to whisper their own thoughts to our ears, I apologize for that. That keeps happening. These recordings keep getting into my recording. So, what was I saying? So basically, if God did not give demons the power to whisper their own thoughts to our ears, which goes into our mind as a thought, then they would really not accomplish anything in this world. I don't even believe it. They would accomplish 0.1%. A lot of the horrible things that happen in this world is a human thinking he should go act that way, correct? He should go kill that person. He should go, etc. Someone saying they're not going to accomplish anything. I'm a loser. Look at that. I am a loser. That's a certain way that they're thinking, right? That's a thinking. They think they're a loser. The words are just them expressing how they think. So don't say that's a word, not a thinking. No, it is a thinking. It's just that the thinking came out into expression. When you express it, it can be expressed verbally or physically, right? So when they say they're a loser, their life is miserable, they feel like a loser. Okay, mentally they think they're a loser. They're having thoughts telling them they're a loser. Okay, and then they just might have expressed it to you and told you they feel like a loser. So thoughts are everything. But since demons are sending that to you, you probably don't think it's a spiritual solution, right? I'm not telling you to go fast or pray. That's a choice, and I would recommend it. But for people who don't want to hear that stuff, who don't even follow a religion, of course, I'm going to give you solutions that God would also give you. God gave a lot of advice and a lot of solutions. You might be like, how do you know what God is advising, what God is saying? All the healthy, logical, intelligent, wise things that a human could possibly do to get out of a bad situation, that wisdom came from God Almighty. He gave that to us. That knowledge is from Him. So that's why we would say it's from Him. So anytime there's a bad situation, right, and there's an intelligent, healthy way to resolve it, that's, clean and safe and good and not bad, that is obviously from God. That's knowledge from Him. So you really are always operating from how, God taught you anyway. You just don't know. You lost His religion. You lost a relationship with Him. You don't know Him. There's so much religion. There's so much corruption. There's so much loss of spiritual knowledge. Your forefathers and their forefathers were sinners, and, history, history ruined everything. But that knowledge that God instilled in the human race, which is what goes around every day that we all use, regardless of what religion we're in, to help each other, to inspire each other, that's a good thing, correct? Okay, that good thing only comes from God. It doesn't come from us. We don't know anything. We're empty shells. He taught us every good thing. He created evil, but He doesn't teach you evil. The devil teaches you evil. Okay, so goodness, it's almost 40 minutes. I can't ever seem to make this short. So, to deal with that doubt and anger, the second step is to remind yourself that there is no time limit. You can always go after your dreams. But then, two, just start right now. Just like I'm going in my path of doing artistic things right now. I'm not waiting for the right timing, for the right type of audience to be ready. They'll find me. God will do His own thing and make sure that the right people who need to hear what I'm saying actually hear it. But I'm not going to use that to limit myself. I'm not going to keep telling myself what the thoughts are telling me. You gave me the thoughts, come to you, but I'm not going to keep accepting them accidentally. Where I'm being like, you know what, that's true. Or that's right. I'm not ready. I'm not going to keep doing that. Because, exactly, I'm in my mid-20s now. How long do I have to wait? If I have demons ruining my life every time I try to move towards my dreams and passions, because God gave them the power to harass me more than others, how am I going to accomplish anything if I keep waiting for the right time? If these demons always have the power to target me spiritually, if they can sabotage a lot of the things I try to do in this life, when am I going to ever be free? I don't know. I could die with these demons still, ruining my life. So, and anytime I actually try to do something that would be me going in the path of my dreams, like even when I'm recording this, I see how those demons are feeling in the eyes of the people that are around who are possessed that they're using to, monitor me or harass me or stalk me. They look so defeated. They look so weak. They look so tired because they're pissed off that I'm doing what I need to do. And I'm not following their narrative that this is not the right time. This is not the right environment. You don't have everything you need in order to start. Don't record this. Don't write this book. Don't blah, blah, blah. When I don't listen to those thoughts and I just do it anyway, I see the reactions in those demonic spirits in the human bodies that they're possessing who are around that harass me all the time. I can actually see what they're feeling and thinking. They're thinking, oh no, we failed, because they hope that I just wait and wait and wait until God takes them out of my life. These demonic spirits have the power to follow me and sabotage everything I do. It's not witchcraft. It's a specific power only God gave them himself. I've already, consulted with God and figured out what's going on. I just can't tell anybody why demons stalk me and monitor my life and harass me. So if I wait, well, I'm going to get into my 30s. And I don't like that. I don't like getting older and not accomplishing anything. I have to use my time well and accomplish what I need to accomplish, especially since no one knows when we're going to die. So just think from that mentality. Think from the mentality that the longer you wait, the more you're giving power to that darkness out there that tried to delay you, that tried to stop you. Like portray your enemy not as you being procrastinator or lazy. Portray your enemy as demons. Or if you don't like that, fine. Portray your enemy as evil. But I don't want you to do that. No, you have to believe that demons exist. Come on. You need to seek knowledge and accept that things like that exist. Because evil is a concept. It doesn't have a soul. It doesn't have a body to actually physically go out there and harass you. So you have to believe, right, that darkness has a soul at some point and is acting out to ruin you at some point. You can't just say humans are evil and good and the evil human did this, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but what explains in situations where a human didn't do something bad, but bad things are happening? Or you're just delayed as a person. Like you're not accomplishing anything, but no one's doing anything to stop you. You see, you have to accept and believe that something's out there that has a body, a soul, right? Something that's living, that is mentally controlling you and stopping you. You can't just think those are my thoughts. You're not your own enemy. Why would you have bad thoughts? See, this is what I'm trying to help you see. You can't do that to yourself because you don't hate yourself. You don't have anything against yourself. You can't just sit somewhere and be like, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I can't do anything. You can't do that. God did not create you like that. Okay? Especially when you need evidence to believe that. You actually need to fail at something. And then you also, right, the human could also think negatively. But we get these negative, depressing thoughts trying to delay us from our dreams and goals before we even did anything, correct? So it has to be something else that's like us, that has a soul in it, a body in it, that's living, that can talk to you, that's torturing us. Okay, so the only advantage they have is that we can't see them, but they're talking to your mind. So you're not going to defeat that process they have. You're not going to defeat it by saying, I don't care what this thought said. I'm going to wait until I'm ready. I'm going to wait until I get that job to then use the money I saved from it to start a business. Don't do that. Those are the thoughts I used to have. I had so many jobs all these years, but all the money I was making from them, I never was able to use it to start my business because something always happened. I always got harassed by others and had to then constantly leave my job or have to lose my job. You get me? Because those demons were following me, making sure they use everyone against me to kick me out because they know that job was my ticket to becoming financially wealthy by using it as my stepping stone to start my own business. They know I'm not supposed to be there. They know I'm someone that, right, is going to be an entrepreneur and not work for others. But they knew that I was operating from that low thinking, right, where I thought I had to first have a job, first stabilize myself, then blah, 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 blah. Okay, so they're always gonna have power then, as long as they can take my job away, correct? So that's what I'm saying. Stop limiting yourself to something. I need A in order to do B. Don't do that. Because demons are just gonna be like, oh, okay, I'll just take A away then. They'll just do whatever they can to constantly ruin A, and you'll never reach B, right? So you're not stalked like me by demons. They don't have that kind of power over your life. You have more free will than me, because this is something unique to me, right? And other people, they might harass them a little more than you, but my situation is extremely strange. But they still have other ways that they torture the rest of the human race, like you who's listening to me. They just push you into bad, you know, circle, social circles. They push you into bad thinking, so that then you personally go seeking out things, mentalities, behaviors, interactions, whatever. And now you're distracted. You're somewhere else. You're limited. You're completely somewhere else. So they can still push you away by just ruining your life. But you don't think that was something hurting you or following you in order to ruin your life, correct? You might always have bad experience with the opposite gender. You can't ever have a good relationship and end up having a relationship to get married. You may never truly have good friends. Or you, right? You get jobs, but you never get promoted or something. Like something's always just not getting to the fulfillment level that you need, you know? You're just stuck somewhere in your life, is what I'm saying. And that's still them. They're still ruining your life. But there are human beings, which could be you too, who are choosing to do those bad things to themselves, mixed with bad circles or human beings, make bad decisions, think negatively. It could be you setting yourself up that way. And the demon just simply just tried to irritate you, just tried to give you a bad mentality. They might have just done a little bit, and you really took it and ruined yourself. Obviously, the majority of the human race are the ones ruining themselves. Obviously, the majority of the human race are the ones ruining themselves. So that's what I'm saying. I'm sorry about that. That keeps happening. So I'm saying the negative thoughts are from them. You could just take it and use that to ruin yourself. Or you could be those human beings who've actually went down a horrible path. You know, maybe you became a criminal and became reckless and crazy, and you had to have problems with, legal situations, and you just went down a really bad place. Okay, but either way, you were inspired to go down that path by the thoughts in your mind, and that was demons. So I don't want those thoughts controlling you. I don't want those thoughts limiting you. I don't want those thoughts giving you the times that you did do bad to yourself. You did have a horrible life. I don't want those thoughts then being like, I'm the evidence that you're a failure forever. No, they're not. You can start today. So just start today. Just do what you can with, the amount of money you have. Do a lot of research. Do whatever you can to get to those dreams and goals. But you will only do that if you first write it down, and that will give you the clarity you need. Think about it as many days as you need in order to gain that clarity, so that the doubt can leave and the anger can leave, because you're now walking towards your passions. And the anger was there simply because you were repressing yourself. You weren't accomplishing anything in life. You were looking at others who are moving forward, and that was hurting you. Take care of yourselves.